A very good evening and a very warm welcome to all of you joining in today. My name is Zahra Rasip and I'll be your moderator for the evening. And I would like to thank everyone joining in for this session of to this concept that we call Pick a Book, an incredible initiative that was launched with the aim of igniting the love and passion for reading. And as this name suggests, it's a club where readers can select a book, read and research on it thoroughly, and present the book as a summary for an audience. PME not only inculcates the habit of reading, but helps to impart a wealth of knowledge while honing our readers' communication and public speaking skills. And on that note, I would welcome you to the flip side where we will be engaging with successful individuals, influencers in a conversation, asking them to share with us how reading has helped them achieve greatness both personally and professionally. And we trust that everything that's shared today in this segment of the flip side will add great value to you as well. There's a saying if one reads enough books, one has a fighting chance of survival. Or better, one's chance of survival increases with each book one reads. Much needed, I'd say. All right, today we'll be discussing two outstanding books. But before that, let me introduce you to two amazing personalities who will be joining with us today. We have Miss Vani Bala Rambotu. She's the senior mentor of Pab Radio Vizag, India. She is an entrepreneur, business coach, and mentor. She is the CEO of Stainless Steel Kitchens. She is a qualified psychologist through Stonebridge University, UK, and holds a master in mass communication journalism. She has held many prestigious posts such as Manager Corporate Communications in AP Eastern Distributions Company Limited. All right. And her vision is to empower at least 100 women. And she'll be talking about the book Ignited Minds. Hi, Vani, and a very warm welcome to you to the flip side. How are you today?
Oh, great, Zara. Thank you for the lovely introduction. I'm really, it's my pleasure to be part of today's flip side. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure for us as well. On the other hand, we have Ms. Lakmali Abenai. She's a member of the office and she's a certified coach and a company trainer. A very, very, very warm welcome to you, Ms. Lakmali, today on this very warm evening, I should say.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Pleasure to be here. Really looking forward to having a great conversation with Vani and yourself as well, and to see what we can learn from these two books.
Indeed, indeed. I'm so looking forward to this session today as well. All right, without further ado, let's business. Um, the first question I will be putting it out, Lakmali. Tell me a little bit about the book.
Okay, so this is a communication book, but it's written in a very light-hearted way. It's very easy to read. It talks to everyone, I think, who has a issue with communication, and we all have some sort of a issue. We are always shy. We always feel that even though we may look confident, sometimes we get tongue-tied. So this is a book actually that has 92 tips from the beginners up to the advanced, where we can actually learn how to communicate better.
All right, I think this book would definitely help me as well. Okay, interesting already. The next question we to Miss Vani. What inspired Dr. Kalam to write Ignited Minds?
That's a great question. It's my pleasure, to inspirational role model in mind for Dr. Kalam. Dr. Kalam, he truly believed that the development of any nation is dependent on the young minds of the nation. And it is very important to ignite those minds. So we like, we all need to encourage the youth of any nation, take it or a underdeveloped developing nation, to rise nation, light a fire in the minds of them and their hearts. To fight, to learn, innovate, and push so that the country can realize.
I think Vani is having some connection issues. Let's give her a few minutes to be back.
Potential and power of the youngsters. The book instills a sense of pride among all the Indian, every Indian, if you ask me, and even others in the globally who have read this book, and also very good presentation of vision. It is very divided into short nights, and each one deals with the different themes. And he starts with a quote and ends with some summary that he wanted to think about dreams to uh, and he has written something about all his experiences he shared in the book. Then never met the students where he spoke to college students or the corporates or governments or missionaries or even in the and made. But he has more to and it when because uh, for uh, which is that he was speaking to all the students answer his answer when he question who is our and has answered and who could not problem should be the object I had this speech for all
Yes, so I think there was
Zara?
a bit of yes, the slight break in your, but besides that, it's fine. So I think from what I've heard, book is um, it's intended for pretty much from youngest to the oldest. It would help pretty much everyone. All right, moving on to Lakmali. Who do you think is the intended audience for this book?
Well, Sarah, I think this book is for everyone. I would say this is a book for people who are extremely shy, who can't even say hello to someone, who, when these are the people who will give yes or no answers to questions. And I was one of them when I was young. I just didn't want to talk to anyone. Even if somebody asked me, it was almost like, bother for me because I was too shy to answer. So my answers were yes or no. So I think this is good for that audience, but it is also good for people like me who are like me now, who are very comfortable with their close friends and very good communicators with those close friends, but very shy when and in a social gathering. So when I go to a party or a networking event, I am very shy. I don't know how to go and approach someone. So this book tells you a lot of little tips of how we can do it without feeling very confident and feeling very natural as well. That's what I like about this book because it's everything that is there is extremely very natural way to do it. And I think this is also good for business people, entrepreneurs, because it tells you about how to network, how to speak to the right people, We have all heard about elevator pitch that these big shots are sometimes busy and doesn't really want to talk to the startup entrepreneurs. So how do we very effectively communicate our message in a very short time to the people who can help us? So this book really summarizes for everybody, I think, from somebody who is extremely shy to somebody who is in a position but can also still learn to communicate to whether they want to get the business done or even to find somebody in their life. Even when you're looking for a love relationship, it's about communicating effectively with your message. So I think this book is for everyone, and everyone will benefit by reading this book.
Honestly, I should say I am someone like that too. I'm very guilty of that. So shy, so scared. You know, questions to me, I'll just be like, I'll just one word. That's it. I just don't go beyond. I think this book would definitely help me to some extent. Yes. Moving on to the next question to what are the highlights in the Ignited Minds book?
There are, Zara, there are certain values which have been highlighted in the books, what Dr. Kalam speaks about. He says that the only thing to make a nation great is wholesome education. And he says that when children are growing up till the age of teenage, the best role model would be the parent and a teacher. They can impart the best guidance during this period. Parents and teachers have a big role responsibility. He says the full development of a child with a value system can only come from these people. It is very important for every parent to be willing to make and take the effort to guide their children and to be a good human beings, and even make them enlightened to learn more about themselves and be hardworking. And the teacher, as we all knew, the child's window of learning and knowledge, has a role to be played in generating creativity in the child. Apart from the parent and the teacher, he also says that behind the parents stand the school, and behind the teacher stands the home. Apart from this, he highlights that the progress is rapid wherever there is an efficient administration, a high level of education, and a minimum political interference in the development activity. And he identified 5 areas for any developing country, for example, for India, to become economic growth, to speed up the economic growth. And those areas he identified and said in the book is agriculture and food processing. Two, the area of power, that is the electricity. Three, education and healthcare. Four, information technology. And fifth is the strategic sector where most of the population belong to. And he also says that all these areas need to be balanced that to get the most importance for the economic growth of the country. This is what he has highlighted in the book.
All right. It's like you've said, it's a balance of both.
Yes, a teacher and parent plays a great role when they are still teenagers, and then later on, each and every sector has to take up their role to become, the most important in the developing of the nation. This is what he highlights.
So the teacher and parent are like the two pillars of a child's life. All right, I would totally agree on that. Moving on to our next question to Lakmali. How do you relate to the book, and how do you think the potential audience will relate to it?
Okay, so this is a book that I first read about 15 years ago. And when I read this book, I really liked it because it is written in a very light-hearted way. and each chapter is like only about 2 pages, so there's like 92 chapters, which are all the 92 tricks that we can use for communication. So for me, it was very good because it was written in a very light-hearted way. It wasn't about like go and do this, go and do that. She put a very you got very confident by reading it because she has written in a very humorous way. So there was nothing that was too hard for me to try. And I think for the audience as well, I think they will relate to it very well, because these are tips that you can just pick one tip and go and try it today. You don't have to prepare for it. You don't need to do anything. You just read one page and just try that, because it's everyday. These tips are for everyday communication. So you don't have to wait for a big party or a big event. Go outside and speak to somebody on the bus stop. It is very easy to practice as well, and very easy to read. So me, I really love the book. Like I said, I read it about 15 years ago. I thought everything that I read that time was relevant to me. And then I read that it about 2 years ago when I joined Pick a Book. That this was my first book to present in Pick a Book. I
Oh,
I
wow.
chose I chose that because I thought it was very it was an apt subject, communication. And when I read it again 2 years ago, I thought again all the 92 tips was relevant to me. So it's a evergreen book. You can use this, you know, in another 10, 15 years. I think even in another 100 years, it will still be useful for people who are shy. It's a well received book, Sarah. It's been translated into 26 languages and bestsellers in few countries as well.
All right. So I think that will be my next book on the list of books to read. All right. Thank you so much for that, Lakhwali. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right. Moving on to Vani. What did you adopt from the book, and how has it helped you to adapt in your journey through life?
As Lakshmani spoke about the communication of the book, the importance of it, Dr. Kalam encourages us to focus and take pride in all our strengths in this book and the achievements first, and then focus on your goals that we aspire for. So we need to take pride in our strengths, what we are having, and the achievements, what we have done, and focus on the goals, what we wanted to aspire. He encourages to make goals and the will to achieve those goals. So when one is empowered by a purpose, in your life, definitely you will move towards the productivity. That's for sure. Now let me tell you, give you an example of India. What has inspired me from the book? In India, we are the first in milk production. We are the number one country in remote sensing satellites. We are the second largest producer of wheat. We are the second largest producer of rice. And India tops the list of having 365 million young people as a country with the world's largest youth population. And India ranks 52nd in place of innovation. Like, for example, if you take Switzerland, Sweden, US, Netherlands, UK, Finland, Denmark, in terms even Singapore, Israel, they all are ranked above us. So he says like we all have to learn from those tough experiences and move forward to make our aspirations and dream come true. And how this has helped for me to grow in my life is like, we have listed down as being Dr. Kalam's greatest fan, and the way I idolize him as a role model. I was inspired when I read this book few years back. I can say 10 years back, and list down all my strengths and the achievements or small achievements, what I have conquered, what I have done from my school days, college days, working life. And as an organization today, as being an entrepreneur, it has given me a lot of confidence to aim for a bigger goals and to do a bit for a nation development. And I'm proud to say today we are the largest manufacturer in the country for paddy dryers. And it has given us an opportunity to grow and give employment to 100 people from rural India. And we are even proud to even employ women in our manufacturing facility. This is how the book has impacted me. And I'm sure for everyone it does.
Wow, that is quite an interesting, quite a lot of interesting facts about our neighboring country, India. My next destination to visit, I'd say. All
Most
right.
welcome.
Yes, yes. Looking forward to. That's quite interesting. Thank you, Vani, for that. Lakmali, so what are the skills you learned from this book?
Sarah, I just wanted to add to Vani's thing when you talked about Vani about setting goals. Now, to set goals, you need to communicate to yourself as well what the goals are, and they need to be very clear. Smart goals to achieve them. So, communication to for us, for people around us, and to the outer world is extremely important. Effective communication. I think a lot of issues happen, a lot of problems and conflicts happen because the communications is not done very effectively. Sarah, to your question, what I learned, it is basically that effective communication because I used to struggle. I was one of those children who never, put my hand up to talk in the class. Even if I knew the answer, I was too shy to do that. And this book, I think, gave me confidence to express my feelings and to say it's okay. And it also gave me, there's lots of tips. I mean, there's 92 tips, and it covers from basic to a very professional uh, communicators. So for me, few things that I learned was that when uh, when so- when I am introduced to someone, pivot 100%. Verbal communication and non-verbal communication as well. And this book covers both. Is actually your body language is very important. It's a tool in communicating as well. So to pivot 100% towards the person that I'm talking to, and also to listen because sometimes when we communicate, we just want to say what we want to say without listening to the other person. While the other person is talking, we are trying to gather our thoughts to say something. So also to listen carefully to what other person is saying and to emphasize it by repeating it. So these are little things that I learned. And um, on the phone, now this is a very important thing I learned now because we take the phone and Zoom as well. Now we are all, because of the pandemic, we are all using Zoom. We think it's just like communicating one to one, but in the Zoom and the on the phone, we don't actually see the non-verbal communication. We don't see the hands. Now you only basically see my torso, so you're not seeing the hands. So my facial expressions are not very clear, so you kind of read those ones. So to uh, to cover them, we need to emphasize on some things more. We need to repeat ourselves a little bit more to make sure that we are understood. Uh, to ask questions a little bit more to make sure that our audience understood us. So those are little tips, but they make a huge difference for effective communication. Um, so these are little few things that I learned from this book.
I think there is most of us who are here, I think that will joined in as well, find it quite useful and quite an interesting number of tips you've shared with us today. Thank you so much for that. And move on to Vani once again. Why does Dr. Kalam advise the young people to dream?
That's a great question once again, Zara. Dreams, we all do it from our young age. As a child, we really dream. And Dr. Kalam also encourages the young minds from young toddler, like in an infant from 3 years, to dream. He says that the dream transforms our thoughts, and the thoughts results in the action. So he says parents and teachers should allow the children to dream. Often, young people, what happens, they pick up a career of looking at someone they admire, and they try to emulate their achievements, even though everyone has their own story to write. In the process, they lay the foundation to different future of the entire nation and form and generate. Dr. Kalam also points out that the great minds of any country had ability to make others join the endeavor to convert their dreams into reality. For them, the nation is bigger than themselves. So he says always our dream should be that the nation should be bigger than ourselves. Then only we all can progress towards. Now, here, let me ask you, Zara or Zakmali, as you both are live here, a very simple question. You can just answer me. What does independence mean to you? Can you just share it? What does independence mean to you?
For me,
Being
Avani, independence is the ability to choose what I want to do.
Okay.
Uh,
Wow.
so
Zara, you?
pretty much agree to the same thing. Being able to look after yourself and being able to do as long as you're not hurting anyone else.
Yes, great, very great. Now, if I say that, for example, assume that I just wanted to gift you, this is the first time we all have met. I wanted to gift you a mobile of your choice. What would be the mobile? Which mobile you would like to get me from me? Can you name it?
Maybe
okay.
an Oppo.
Oh God,
Oppo?
no, no.
Okay. Okay. Any?
Choose your mobile.
Choose your mobile. I'm giving a chance.
But then
Yes, Zara?
again, I don't know. I would feel very. I wouldn't want to accept it.
Hurry, no, it's a gift I'm giving. Please, you can go ahead and choose it.
Oh, all right. Let's say an Oppo or an Redmi.
Oh, Redmi or Oppo. Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Okay, let me be little more generous. I really loved you both so much, and now I would love to gift a car. So, what car you would love to choose? You can answer. Just answer. Yeah, it's a dream, yeah. You can
Now
come up
you
with.
have a car, you have a phone. Now you're getting a car as well, Sarah.
Yes,
Oh,
yes. You're getting a car too.
your lucky
Come
day.
on.
My lucky day. Yes. Okay. Let's say it's
Yes,
a Mercedes or a Toyota.
Mercedes. Fantastic. Toyota or Mercedes. What about Zakmali? What about you?
So I'm a very practical person. I have a big
Okay.
car. I have a big boot because I carry lots of stuff all the time. So
Okay.
I will look for safety and
Okay.
will look where I have enough space in the boot of the car to carry stuff. So
Okay.
I will go for what I actually have at the moment, which is Mitsubishi, sort of a Prado kind of. So
Fantastic. 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 Super. Thank you for your answers. Now imagine a scenario where think all three of us were traveling to Europe and US and asked the same question to everyone. How would it feel if the participants over there, like in a pick a book session or a book conversation with the book club members, what we are having, and they have named an Indian brand or a Sri Lankan brand of a phone or a car as their preferred mobile or a car they would love to possess? How do you feel?
very proud.
Very proud. That's great. So, this is what independence to me is about. When we have our own brands being sold across the world and competing with best in the world, this is where the independence and the nation development is all about, and we feel so proud of it. Thank you, Zara. Now imagine how much stronger we will be if the world wishes to buy an Indian made fight, like India recently bought some fighter planes from France or somewhere. And does it make India stronger as a military force? Definitely it will do. But imagine how much stronger it would be like if a world wishes to buy the same flight of planes from Sri Lanka or India, how proud we feel. In the same way, my advice to all the brilliant young participants who are there in the session today, do not dream of becoming a CEO of Google or the next CEO of Microsoft or any big multinational. Instead, dream even bigger. Aspire to build your own multinational and spread wings worldwide. You have it and you will achieve it. You just need to push yourself and not settle down for anything lesser. So my advice to all the parents over there is please not encourage all the youngsters to go abroad and earn dollars. Instead, encourage them to pursue their passion and encourage them to take the calculated risks to make the world class products and services and earn the dollars for the country you belong to. And Dr. Kalam says the message to all the young have that dream. You should think you should have courage to the part, courage to discover the and the so hope from us. Let us dream our action to successful in the globe. Such fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was very, very inspiring. Very inspiring. Thank you so much for that, Vani.
Thank you.
Moving on to our function to Lakmali. Finally, there are many communication books out there. Okay, how does this differ from them, and who would you recommend this book to?
Okay. Sarah, Vani, that was an extremely inspirational little talk for all young people, not only young people, for us oldies as well. And I just wanted to add that India and Sri Lanka has a very long, rich history. We had kings, we had innovation, we had technology long before the Western developed world now. And unfortunately, with colonization, we have forgotten that. And like you said, we try to go abroad, earn in dollars. We think of only Google and Microsoft and KPMG. So thank you for bringing it up here because I think it's a good reminder for all of us to know that we come from extremely rich nations with a history. So we should actually, without forgetting it, just build on that because we are walking on top of giants. Sarah, to your question of why is this book different to any other communication books? There's a lot of communication books, and most of them are actually very good. So I wouldn't say this is the best, but for me, it's been translated into 26 languages. It's been number one for many years as well. This book is quite old. This is about 25 years old, I think, and it's still relevant. We're still talking about it. So it's done something. And I think for me, the easiest thing was it was very light to read. And like I said, you can just read a chapter, go and practice it. So there's not a lot of things that you have to remember. Like when you read a book of say 100, 200 pages and you need to analyze it before you can practice it. Here there's no analyzing, you don't need to analyze, just read it, go practice it. And she makes it very light. She gives you that confidence that you can do it because in even the biggest complicated thing, she has made it very light. She's given some example of things that her friends went through as well. And this is also backed by science as well. So it is not only her opinion. She has interviewed lots of people to find out the best way to communicate in a certain scenario, given scenario. So this is, I think, this is why I like this book compared to the other books, because you just read couple of pages and go practice, because communication is about practicing. It's not about reading it and getting the knowledge. It is about practicing it. More you practice, it becomes more natural.
All right. And besides the statistics that you shared about the book, we have our own living proof right here, Miss Lakali, who have who benefited from this book and have really benefited from. All right. Thank you so much for that, Lakmali. And moving on to Vani for your final question. What are the practical tips you can suggest from the book?
A good one, Zara. And as Zakmali said, that anything you put to practice and action, then only you could get some results. In the same way, Dr. Kalam also suggests in his book some 9 tips. He says the first one would be identify what a nation needs. And he says that there are only 3 people: virtuous, virtuous leaders, and virtuous officers. If to increase in our society, the nation would become a world leader. And the second one, he says, like to the youngsters, make nature your companion. We all know how it has started. And all of us started doing the nature and started, embracing it more than before. And the third one is embrace the change. Change is very crucial. It brings new thoughts. New thoughts lead to innovation and into action. So he said the third one, embrace the change, whatever comes. Fourth, have an extraordinary project. Get inspired by whatever the thoughts and dreams you have. Go back of it. Dream it. Yes, you will see you will transcend your limitation through. And you consciously will expand your every of either the communication or the way the process is going, and it will be a great, great, wonderful. And third is, I be successful. Ask yourself. You should ask yourself, shall I be successful? If you ask, yes, I will be successful and I will be successful, the thing is to do that hard work. That to be given. The second is what teaches. Zakari has pointed out the both nations have their heritage and culture, the history. The history has shown us hunger for our land. And the second one is always they have courage. If you have the courage to do talent. Eighth one point here mentions your project or where do you be successful the your bigger than you. The last 9th one would be where are we mistakes? Find out yourself. Where are we doing some mistakes? And correct yourself. Is an attitude a problem? Please correct it. Correct.
I think Vani is having some connection issues. Let's give her a few minutes to join back. Meanwhile, would you like to say a few words, few final words?
Sarah, I would recommend anyone to read this book because there's lots of little communication tips here that even the great communicators might not know. So we can always improve our communication skills. There's a lot of benefits to having great communication skills. Even within a family, a lot of conflicts will be reduced if you know how to communicate to your loved ones and to your children, because it is, again, it's not the same way of communicating as well. It's different ways to different ages, different genders, different positions. So if um, you learn how to communicate well, I think life becomes very simply, life becomes much simpler and much better.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for that, Lakmali. Thank you so much. Welcome back, Vani. I think you had some connection issues. Um,
Okay, sorry.
yeah, no,
Sorry, I
fuss,
think
not
we
an
did.
issue at all. You can. I think let you continue from where you had stopped.
Yeah, see, as a nation, what he speaks about is like, he mentioned some nine tips for all the youngsters to go about. Many people who would have to chase it, chase dream go. He says that a nation is only three virtues: leaders and officers whom you can, if they lot in the society, the world will be better place. You have to make nature as a companion, definitely, and embrace change. It is very essential to us, isn't it? So it brings a lot of thoughts for us, and it brings us to lead some innovative actions to take from the change. And he says, like, pick up an extraordinary project, work on it, and you will see that your mind opens up. You will open up on all your limited beliefs and you start working on yourself. And that's what is all about. That will be great for yourself and the nation. And also, whether you will be successful. Same way, as Emily said, what history teaches us. She said the history of both the country, rich cultural heritage, we have a huge hunger for. So let's learn from our history, but our later forefathers have led us to. Now let us leave to the next generation what best we can. And he always says that courageous. If you want successful in your life, you have to be courageous. You have to be devoted to your task, what you have taken up. You have to be your own driving force. And the other points he mentions is you always have to believe that you are not the bigger than the project. The project or whatever the task we have taken is more bigger than you, more bigger than you, and the nation should be the bigger than you. Then only you can see a developing nation. And the last one he says is, please correct where we are going wrong. Please correct if you have an attitudinal problem. Please correct somewhere your mind is getting into limited beliefs. Come out of that. Open your thoughts. Put into us. This is what all practical he suggests to us.
Thank you, Vani, for that. That was quite inspirational. And these two books, I'd say, goes hand in hand. All right. Unfortunately, I've come to the end of another very interesting flip side. Uh, we shall see you soon on another Cost Crunch side. And with that, we conclude the flip side series organized by Pick a Book Sri Lanka. And as you know, Pick a Book Sri Lanka, their vision is to change participants' sense of self through the wonders of literature, and they inspire change. And I think from this episode, we were able to inspire change. I would definitely say yes. And thank you much once again to the presenters, Lakmali and Vani, for for being here on a busy schedule. Um, so thank you so much for all of you who joined in as well. And so be courageous, dream big, embrace change, go out there, communicate with your family and loved ones, and solve everything out there. All right, thank you so much once again to my lovely two panelists that we have today. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend ahead and see you very, very soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zara. It's a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
learn about one book from Lakmali and present one book. Lakmali, I say that this book would be my next book to read in my this year list. So already put it in. Such a good communication skill in tips. Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation.
Great
My
mind
favorite
thinks alike,
starting with. Thank you.
Vani, because
Thank you,
I
Zara.
was thinking of reading that book as well, your book. You have inspired me to read that book.
Wow. Very
Yes,
interesting. Quite an interesting session. Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so
all.
much,
It was
Zara.
a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be here.
Namaste.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.